want to talk a little bit about free will, religion, spiritualism, and free will. The age-old question, if God is such a good God, why does he allow bad things to happen to good people, and how come bad people have good things happen to them? I don't profess to have the answer. I'm just giving my perspective on how I see it happening, and I'm going to put a link to Dinesh D'Souza's seminar or speech, and he explains it pretty eloquently, and I'm going to jack it up, but in essence, it's free will. God gives us free will. He created man to have a relationship with man. Why? And again, I'm not saying that humans are God's pets, but man has an innate internal desire to want to have a relationship. Man in general. I'm sure there's some hermits out there or some recluses who don't want to have anything to do with anybody, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about man's innate desire to have a relationship with other men or other people, let's put it that way. What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What is my purpose in life? What's my motivation? Why do I get up in the morning? If there is no greater purpose or higher purpose for me being here, why am I here? The age-old question, right? Why are we here? Well, from Dinesh's speech, he created man to have a relationship with man, but he doesn't want us to be automatons. Otherwise, we'd just be robots. We'd follow a certain programming, and everything would be perfect the way the Creator wanted it. He wants to see us choose to do the right things, in my opinion. Again, everything in this is my opinion. And everything in this video, and the past videos about religion and spiritualism is my opinion. And you don't have to believe any of it. And it's when man chooses to do the right thing, it makes, it's a good thing. But there are men who choose to do the wrong things. And it kind of goes back to God is perfect from the previous video. Well, if God is perfect and he only makes perfect things, see, I don't subscribe to that God only makes perfect things. Lord knows. Lord knows there's a lot of imperfect things on this earth, for sure. Man being one of them. But I think that's by design. I believe that's by design. Because what's the point? If kind of like when I talk to my kids and they're struggling with something, they're like, oh, it's too hard, I don't want to do it, and I can't do it, I'm going to stop doing it because it's too hard. And then I ask them, well, you want to go back to kindergarten? Kindergarten was easy. No, it's easy. It's like, well, why was it easy? Well, because I did all that already. Duh. Life is hard because it's a challenge. But if everything came easy, what's the point? Struggles, and I'll make that another video. Struggles are what brings out the best in us, and obviously brings out the worst in us. Desperate times bring out some crazy behaviors in humans. But back to the original point, free will. God gave us free will to see what we would do. And He makes suggestions to us. That voice you hear, not talking literally about a voice, but that feeling you get, or that sixth sense that I really should do this, or this really isn't right, or this feels right to do. To me, that's how I perceive God speaking to me. When I get that feeling, it's like, yeah, this is the right thing to do. Or when I get that feeling, or that urge to do something that that either is hard to do, or I just don't want to do it, but I feel compelled I have to for the right reasons. Case in point, joining the military. It was the scariest thing I ever did in my life, but it worked out better than I could have expected. But it was scary. It was a scary thing to do. Going to college was a scary thing to do, but it just felt like the right thing to do. I had a strange calm over me when I made a decision. The little story, kind of off the beaten path of free will, but it is free will, so to speak. When I graduated college, I sent resumes out to probably 100 employers. Nothing. But instead of losing sleep or toiling over, how come I'm not getting any job offers or interviews, I just had this calming effect that it'll all work out. And that's kind of what's happening now. There's a lot going on in my life, a lot going on in the family, a lot going on with work. Thus I'm on the road for work. And is it stressful? Heck yeah, it's stressful. But in the back of my mind, there's a sense that it'll all work out. I have a saying that I always kind of revert back to: this too shall pass. And I don't know if it's a Bible verse, I have to look it up, but this too shall pass. But before, when I wasn't a Christian, when I wasn't a spiritual person, I got, it just ate me up alive. I'd lose sleep. Not saying I don't do that now, but those episodes are farther and few and far between, and they don't last as long. And that's part of free will. I know that I just follow that sense of God talking to me, because I choose to, and that's a part of my spiritual growth, in that I'm learning to trust that sense. I'm learning to trust that quote unquote voice that tells me, follow this path. Choose to follow this path. Now I have free will to say, nope, I know what's best.
Exit right.
That's counter to everything that I know, and I'm not going that way. But I believe everybody has that sense, and you're also given the free will to follow that sense. And those that don't follow that sense, things don't always work out well. And if they do work out well, it's sometimes coincidental, or other things that fall into place that make it work out right. But to me, religion and free will go hand in hand, and that's why bad things happen to good people, because let me see my exit.
Exit right.
Because either I wouldn't say they choose like cancer, you know, nobody chooses to get cancer, but those things like getting cancer can bring you closer to God or bring you take you away from God, but it puts you at a crossroads to choose which path you want to go. Greatness has come from people with, you know, terrible situations, and terrible things have happened to good people in terrible situations. But it's not that they happen to you; it's what you do when those things happen to you. I don't believe God prevents bad things from happening to you, but
miles.
So much that He gives you the tools to deal with it when they do happen to you. You can choose to still lead a spiritual life regardless of bad things happening to you. Where was I going? GPS threw me off. But I don't believe God, you know, puts a roadblock so much. He may, I don't know. But when bad things happen to good people, I don't think it's so much that He causes it to happen. I just don't think He puts roadblocks of bad things that happen to people just because you're a good person or just because you're a godly person. Sometimes those bad things that happen to good people result in the greater good. You know, that's not to say that everybody who gets cancer is going to lead the world to greatness. But the other kind of observation about bad things happening to good people, it helps others. Some people are not going to like this perspective, but it helps me appreciate my life. Not saying, oh man, I'm glad I don't have cancer. Boy, your life sucks, you got cancer. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying appreciate what you have, because there are others out there that have it way worse than you. But also, as a Christian, it is your duty, that's a bad word, you should be compelled to find ways to help those who aren't as fortunate as you. You know, and I admit, I struggle with that. I struggle with helping others. I do what I can. Can I do more? Always do more. But to what end? You know, I can sell all my possessions, but does that really help anybody? You know, yeah, it helps people on the short term, but when I'm out of money, well, you know, then I become part of the problem. Or not money, but resources. You know, where's the balance point? I mean, Mother Teresa, she did it. She gave up everything, and she helped others. Good for her, you know. Good for her. Do I aspire to be like that? Sure. Am I going to go and sell all my possessions and take up where she left off? Probably not. That's part of my imperfectness. I'm not willing to do that, and I admit that. I'm not willing to give up some creature comforts. Does that make me a bad person? Yeah. To some people, yeah. But, you know, I'm intellectually honest with myself. I'm not willing to give up some things. You look at the Bible, even in the Bible, when Peter was asked, don't you know this man? You know, and he denied it. No, I don't know that man. When Jesus was gonna get crucified, He didn't want to be guilty by association because he was scared. And he was one of the disciples. So, am I saying that, well, look, Peter was imperfect, and I have, I have permission to be imperfect. Not saying that. I'm saying we're all fallible. We're all imperfect. We all have our own faults. I know what some of mine are. Can we improve? Always improve. Always strive. I think that's part of the journey. Part of the journey of free will is learning to choose the right thing to do, and keep the lines of communications open between you and God. And I think that is the major foundation of spiritualism and religion and Christianity for the most part. So that's my rambling. Catch you later. Bye.